Hello, BookTube. I thought I'd improve the scenery for your day's first mail haul, but I'm afraid for the second mail haul you're stuck with the small park scars from 1782. It's back to just the two of us. The young people have gone. The place seems so silent without the pitter-patter of their little feet. But it turns out that we'll be meeting ever so much more often. So, in the meantime, I thought we'd go through the rest of the day's mail and see if there's anything squeal-worthy. So we'll start with this first one here. It's a wonderful, wonderful bookish day. I never get across the river to Harvard Square. I never do. And you'd think it was in Timbuktu. It's not. It's a quick bus ride directly across the river. And I just never do it. So it was so much fun. All right, so what have we got first here? This comes out in May, and it is by Bren Smith, and it's called Eat Like a Fish. My Adventures as a Fisherman Turned Restorative Ocean Farmer. I don't know what a restorative ocean farmer is. So it's an ocean farmer who gives long back rubs? Let's find out. It's an exuberant memoir and a powerful vision for the future of food. Seaweed. A former fisherman who spent half of his life trawling the distant oceans, Smith now lives a quieter life. As the owner of Thimble Island Ocean Farm, he grows kelp, oysters, mussels, clams, and scallops, and is on the vanguard of a major change in how we eat. With 90% of large fish stocks depleted, rapid climate change decimating farmland, and a population that's set to reach 9 billion by 2050, the days of animal protein-centric diets are numbered. Interesting. I'm fascinated already. More and more, we are looking for sustainable alternatives, and we're open to new foods. 10 years ago, no one knew what kale was, but now it's a restaurant menu staple. The sentence does not go on to say, for insufferable patrons, but it could. Now, couldn't it? A miracle food, seaweed is easy to grow and harvest, good for the environment, sustainable, nutritious, and delicious. I'm guessing one of those words is not true. I bet you can guess which one it is. Smith founded Long Island Sound's first vertical ocean farm, as well as Green Wave, an organization dedicated to supporting a new generation of ocean farmers and innovators and advocating for a new approach to the American diet. And the use of seaweed on our dinner plates isn't theoretical. Many American chefs are now cooking with Smith's sea greens, and the book contains 8 recipes from the James Beard award-winning chef Brooks Headley to show readers what's possible with kelp and to help them rearrange their ideas about ocean eating. Okay, all right. Gotta love an author with a vision. All right, so this comes out in mid-May, and it's about shifting to a seaweed-based diet. I'm not hearing a whole lot of volunteers on that end of the camera, but I'm willing to listen to the author. I'm certainly willing to hear him out. Don't think I've ever voluntarily eaten seaweed. I could be missing out on a bonanza. It could taste like candy corn. Anyway, let's move on. This next one feels heavy. Could be a finished copy or something. Let's see here. Oh, it is a finished copy. Okay. Great. Okay, I don't have a pub sheet for this one, but I was just talking about it earlier today. This is a much ballyhooed fantasy. This is The Ruin of Kinks by Jen Lyons. I don't have a pub sheet for this, but I think it comes out this month. I think it comes out in February, probably mid-February. Let's see here. Kieran grew up in the slums of Kur, Q-U-U-R, that is the name of the city, a thief and a minstrel's son raised on tales of long-lost princes and magnificent quests. When he is claimed against his will as the missing son of a treasonous prince, Kieran finds himself at the mercy of his new family's ruthless power plays and political ambitions. Practically a prisoner, he discovers that being a long-lost prince is nothing like what the storybooks have promised. The storybooks lied about a lot of other things, too. Dragons, demons, gods, prophecies, true love, and the hero always wins. Then again, maybe he isn't the hero after all, for Kieran is not destined to save the Empire. He's destined to destroy it. I've heard a lot about this book, as I'm sure you have as well, if you've got your nose to the bookish grindstone. I've heard some criticisms of it. Totally unfounded until you read the thing. All you can do is criticize its appurtenances. You can't actually criticize the book, and I certainly can't. I will read this hungrily this weekend. This is a perfect example of what I was talking about the other day, where I was leaving slots open for stuff to read, and this is high on that list. You can see where some of the criticism comes from, right? It's a beautiful but a derivative cover, and that plot description is it's not anything we haven't seen before. It will, like everything else we talk about on this channel, depend on execution. And I've heard a lot of good things about the execution, so we shall see. Who is Jen Lyons when she's at home? She lives in Atlanta, Georgia, with her husband, 3 cats, and a nearly infinite number of opinions on anything from Sumerian mythology to the correct way to make a martini. All right, I love this author. I love her already. She is a video game producer by day and spends her evenings writing fantasy. A longtime devotee of storytelling, she traces her geek roots back to playing first edition Dungeons & Dragons in grade school and reading her way from A to Z in the school's library. And this is her debut. Okay, so we don't know anything about the book until we read it, but we know we like the author because she has a near infinite amount of opinions on everything, and that make her right at home on this channel. So all right, so I now have the Ruin of Kinks. Great. I will dive right into it and see what all the fuss is about. All right, so we're off to a fine start here. Well, let's find a seaweed can make a start. Oh, great. Okay, fantastic. Another fine start. This is a mystery thriller. Comes out in late May. I love these things. And this is called The Island by Ragnar Johansson, who wrote The Darkness, which I read and really liked. This author burst onto the American scene with Snowblind and Nightblind. I think I read Snowblind as well, and I think I liked it. The first 2 novels in the Ari Thor thriller series, and the praise was overwhelming. With The Darkness, he launched a new series featuring a completely new sleuth, Detective Inspector Hulda Hermansdottir of the Reykjavik Police Department. And the second book in the series delves into one of Hulda's earlier cases with chilling occurrences on a remote island. If I remember correctly, the setup here is that Hulda is due to retire, and that although Hulda sees retirement coming, it comes faster than anticipated. And to soften the blow, her boss gives her pick of the cold cases, and she picks one of her own. In the autumn of 1987, a young couple takes a romantic trip to the West Fords holiday, a trip that gets an unexpected ending and has catastrophic consequences. 10 years later, a small group of friends go for a weekend in the old hunting lodge, a place completely cut off from the outside world, in order to reconnect. But one of them doesn't make it out alive, and Detective Inspector Hulda Hermansdottir is determined to find out if there's a connection between the 2 tragedies. And the author is from Iceland, and was an attorney at law and a writer in Reykjavik before embarking on a writing career. Okay, I don't know where I'm getting the idea of a mandatory retirement. Maybe I'm mixing this up with another book. But one way or another, I know that I like this author, and this comes out in late May. I probably won't wait until then to get to it, depending on how many Ruins of Kings I get, because some things take priority. Finished copies tend to take priority. So let's see what the next one is. Enjoy your guest star? Your 2 guest stars? Hoping that you did. Oh. Okay. All right. Okay, great. This is... do we have a date on this thing? No, maybe not. Oh, May. Okay, this comes out in May. This is the new Alex Rider book, Secret Weapon. This is a collection of shorter works. See that right there? That is the new cover art by Larry Rostant. He's doing the new covers for all of Alex Rider, not just the new book, but all the old ones. Fantastic work. Totally dramatic. And this comes out in, oh, there you go. You've got all of his artwork right there. I have some of them. I don't have all of them, but that's fantastic. Great. I am a big fan of the Alex Riders. I'm a big fan of Anthony Horowitz, just in general. This author, I think, can do no wrong, no matter what he does, because his non-Alex Rider stuff, his adult contemporary mystery stuff is also wonderful. So that's fantastic. All right, so we're doing really well here. We're doing really well because we're hitting artisanal seaweed notwithstanding, we're getting a lot of books that I want to jump into right away, and I love that feeling. So let's move on here. Oh my! Oh goodness gracious! Oh, okay, all right. Okay, did not know this was coming. This comes out in early April. This is the Peterson guide, the field guide to bird sounds of Western North America. So how is that going to work? Because bird sounds are notoriously idiosyncratic and difficult to describe. You go, it's become an inside joke in 100-year-old birding literature. You go to them, every single author, you know, some retired British curate who is obsessing about birds on his moors or whatever. They all will do some phonetics of what a bird's call actually sounds like, and you can give them the exact same bird, and it's totally different from person to person. It looks like this book dispenses with all of that by just including acoustic graphs. I don't know what a reader would be expected to do with that. Well, what have we got here? Let's go to all right. Let's go to the barn owl, Tito alba. Widespread in open country, sometimes near human habitation, nests in enclosed spaces ranging from barns to riverbank cavities. Highly nocturnal. When cornered in a nest or roost, gives a long screeching hiss in defensive posture. And hiss is capitalized even though it shouldn't be. That is the sonic signature of that long hiss. Also, hissing monotone with abrupt start at end often ends with high squeak, and we have a different acoustic signature for that. I'll have to read the how to use this book start at the beginning and see how you would actually do that. I mean, it's a field guide, but you're looking for, this is a field guide to sounds, and you know, I guess the book must probably teach you how to read at a glance the sonic charts. Fascinating either way, though. God, you gotta love the Peterson's bird guides are legendary. so I don't object, even if I'm gonna have to learn something about acoustics. All right, let's move on here. Okay, all right. This is a debut novel. You know how much I love those. This is by Deb Spera, and it's called Call Your Daughter Home. Lovely thing. This has the French flaps and the deckled edges, so I'm thinking this might be... Oh, no, this comes out in hardcover in June, so it probably won't, the hardcover probably won't look like this. I often found, I've mentioned it on this channel before, it's a little bit frustrating that when you get an advanced copy like this with the textured cover and the deckled edges and the French flaps and all, and embossed letters, and then you get the hardcover and it's just a brick of a hardcover with a normal dust jacket around it. And I've noticed countless times in 2018, 2017, that this version is prettier. It's nicer in every way. It's like I've said many times on this channel, instead of this coming out, what's it going to be? $27. Just bring this out for $15 and in this edition, and you'll sell it out, as opposed to selling, you know, a third of what your print run is for your hardcover and then dispensing with the rest to remainder distributors or pulp mills or whatever. But either way, I'm glad to have this. So what have we got here? This is a debut, a wrenching and heartfelt debut about 3 generations of women and the struggles they face in the South in the early part of the 20th century. In South Carolina in 1924, hardship is commonplace, as the region is still recovering from the infamous boll weevil infestation that devastated the land and the economy. Gertrude, mother of 4, must make an unconscionable decision to save her daughters from starvation or die at the hands of an abusive husband. Retta is navigating a harsh world of first-generation freed slaves, still employed by the Coles, influential planting proprietors who once owned her family. Annie is the matriarch of the Coles family and owner of the Branchville Sewing Circle, a business left to her by her father when he passed. I always want to think passed gas. Just say died. Just died. He didn't pass. He died. She must come to terms with the terrible truth that robbed her of her young son's life and has ripped her 2 daughters from her side. These 3 women seemingly have nothing in common, yet they unite to stand up to the terrible injustices that have long plagued the small town. That sounds good. That sounds good. I wonder how, now even on the slim skeletal introduction that we got in that pub sheet, I'm now wondering how they will react to dealing with each other. Okay. Great. Well, this is a debut novel. This comes out in mid-June. And the cover actually shows us the low country flora and fauna, but also silhouettes of the three different women. Fantastic. Okay. Promising sounding fiction debut. That makes 2 in this. And then we'll deal with this last one, and then we'll be done. And this is, of course, the last mail haul of the week. There aren't going to be any others. So we'll have to hope for the best here. Oh, okay. All right, great. This is, I think this is a double. This is the first in a new series. It's called Say You're Sorry by Karen Rose, a thriller writer. And if I remember correctly, this has a terrific premise. It's a big thing, though. It's twice the size of a normal thriller. Yes, okay. This author, Karen Rose, I guess, has never had a hardcover release before, and this is her first one. And it's the start of a new series. In this book, let's see here, what have we got? Set in Sacramento. Rose once again... Okay, Rose isn't set in Sacramento. Her novel is set in Sacramento. Rose once again delves headfirst into the mind of a serial killer, one who is preying on the city's most vulnerable women and carving the same mysterious message onto the victim's chests. The word Sydney. S-Y-D-N-E-Y. Sydney. Provocative and propulsive, Say You're Sorry takes a look at the long-lasting impact violent crime has on both victims and those who instigate it. Okay. In Say You're Sorry, Sacramento has a serial killer on the loose, and the only identifiable marks he leaves on are the letters he carves into his victims' chests. When he grabs Daisy Dawson, he doesn't expect her to fight back, let alone get away with crucial evidence, a necklace she tears off his neck. The necklace is the break FBI Special Agent Gideon Reynolds has been looking for in the 17-year-old case he's tracking. With Daisy's help, Gideon finally has the opportunity to get closer to the truth than ever before. That is, if they can outsmart the killer. And the book is told from the perspectives of the FBI agent, the victim, and the murderer. Okay, all right, I'm on board. And this comes out in mid-February, so I can read this right away, and I will. So there you go. So this last mail haul of the week just waded in and played bloody hob with all of my reading plans for the weekend. That's just the way I like it. So we have a big, meaty serial killer. Say You're Sorry. No idea why this thing isn't called Sydney, but I'm not asked these things. I'm not consulted. Then Call Your Daughter Home, a debut novel. The Peterson's Field Guide to Bird Sounds of Western North America. A little bit specialized, but I've heard a lot of these birds. I'm sure that this will be fascinating. Then Alex Rider's Secret Weapon. So in the spring, there's going to be a new Alex Rider book, a collection of short stories. Then The Island by Ragnar Johansson. Icelandic noir, Icelandic police procedural, which you've heard me go on about. I get a little short-tempered about them, but this is a good series, a good example. Eat Like a Fish. How about gourmet seaweed? I'm 100% sure that fish eat seaweed. Don't fish eat smaller living organisms, smaller animals in the ocean? I'll have to read the book to find out. And it's far enough ahead, so I'm not going to be reading it this weekend, because this mail haul has a couple of items that I'm going to want to read right away. And I'm afraid gourmet seaweed is going to have to wait. Because another one is this thing, The Ruin of Kinks, which I'll be reading right away. I will dive into this and the serial killer book right away. But I don't know that I'll be able to resist the Alex Rider, so I might die. I'm sorry, BookTube, I just have no self-control when it comes to books. But anyway, that is it. That is our last mail haul of the week. I will be back tomorrow with plenty of stuff to talk about, plenty of bookish stuff that I didn't get to today. But we have all day tomorrow, nothing to stop us from chatting all the livelong day. So I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.